Yeah, how do you put someone in jail and you don't even name the clients? That sounds kind of a lot of people that met with him and did business with him and traveled with him after he was arrested.
Lastly, area codes. Okay. Who created this book?
So grateful to be joined by Jeffrey Epstein survivor, Annie Farmer. Annie, thank you so much for taking the time to come back on the show.
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related question.
People online are saying that in one of his recent podcast conversations, Joe Rogan discussed the newly released United States Department of Justice files connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Suddenly, one unexpected name began trending everywhere: Oprah Winfrey. Rogan didn't accuse Oprah of any crime. He was careful, but he questioned why certain powerful names keep appearing in contact books, flight logs, or social circles tied to Epstein. He emphasized that being mentioned in documents doesn't prove guilt. It only shows someone crossed paths with Epstein at some point. In elite Hollywood and billionaire circles, many famous people interacted with him before his crimes were fully exposed. Still, Rogan said the bigger issue is transparency. Why were so many influential celebrities, politicians, and media figures socially connected to Epstein without asking questions? Did their status help him appear legitimate? Or was it merely coincidence within elite networking culture? He also highlighted an important point. Internet rumors often spread faster than facts. Photos, emails, or contact listings can be taken out of context, and without verified evidence, it's dangerous to turn speculation into accusation. Rogan's warning centered on power structures, how wealthy and influential people can hide behind reputation, and the public's right to clarity when new documents emerge. The conversation wasn't about proving that Oprah did anything wrong. It was about asking why the same powerful names repeatedly appear around one of the darkest scandals in modern history, and why the truth still feels incomplete. Until every document is examined and every question answered, speculation will continue to grow, and public trust will keep eroding.
Understanding of how things are really working than ever before.
Yeah.
Like this Epstein file thing, right? That was a big eye-opener for a lot of people. When you see how many people after 2008, after he was arrested, after he went to jail, were actively taking money from him. MIT took money from him and tried to hide it and said it would make sure that any donations from Jeffrey are listed as anonymous. So
Wow.
you find out like people are like, they referred to him as Voldemort, like you couldn't say his name.
Wow.
There was a lot of people that met with him and did business with him and traveled with him after he was arrested, after he went to jail.
Do you spend a lot of time reading them?
No, I try not to. I try to have experts come on. I try to read. You can't change it.
Yeah.
And it'll f with your head.
Yeah, it's
like
toxic.
You will really get.
It'll stick with and I know I've tried not to.
What you're about to hear sounds almost unbelievable, like something pulled from a late-night conspiracy thread. Yet, several former insiders and outspoken celebrities have claimed that certain corners of the industry hide practices far more disturbing than the public ever sees. Whispers circulate about powerful executives with grotesque obsessions. Stories so dark they barely sound human. One controversial figure, Peter J. Nijegard, who once moved through the same celebrity circles and even appeared as a guest connected to Oprah's world, was reportedly recorded making deeply disturbing requests. Allegedly, he attempted to pressure women for access to fetal remains. The details alone are enough to make your stomach turn. Whether every claim is true or not, one thing is clear. Beneath Hollywood's polished red carpets and flashing cameras, there are shadows most people never imagine. The deeper you look, the uglier it becomes. Meanwhile, a separate legal drama is unfolding at the Oprah Winfrey School for Girls in South Africa. The trial of former dormitory matron Tina Virginia Makopo, charged with abusing 6 students, is resuming. Prosecutors allege Makopo tried to kiss and fondle the girls, and is also accused of kicking and hitting some of them. She has pleaded innocent to 14 charges, including indecent assault, and criminal injury. In a related case in Philadelphia, the former headmistress of the $40 million school is suing Winfrey for defamation. The suit claims Winfrey's comments could lead someone to conclude that the school employee knew about the alleged abuse and actively covered it up.
was, needless to say, devastated and really shaken to my core.
Winfrey said she was disappointed in the former headmistress. The TV talk show host also made comments about students who felt there was an atmosphere of repression at the school.
And I spoke to all the girls personally, and I encouraged all of them, any of them who had actually been harmed, to please.
The use of other people's biological material, especially stem cells and blood, is said by insiders to happen far more often than the public realizes. When news of Jeffrey Epstein's allegations involving minors broke, shockwaves rippled through the industry, and cryptic reactions began surfacing. Around that time, Nicki Minaj posted a series of tweets hinting at what she claimed to have witnessed behind closed doors during her career. She never named anyone directly, but the timing and wording raised eyebrows. Many observers immediately connected her comments to the same powerful circles now repeatedly appearing in the Epstein files.
If you were on the scene and you were powerful, to be honest, if you're not in those files, it would be an insult because it just means that you were a bit of a loser.
She wrote, your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and mutilate and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their god.
Epstein was possibly about to cooperate with the feds right before he died.
Now, Oprah is limited in the context of the files, but there is clear collusion between Oprah and Jeffrey Epstein.
In the end, everything circles back to one chilling question. What exactly was Epstein doing with the children around him? Depending on who you ask, the answer split into two completely different and equally disturbing stories. Several of Epstein's alleged victims later stepped forward, describing what they believed was far more sinister than anyone expected. According to their testimony, Epstein wasn't just exploiting people. He was allegedly fixated on building something twisted, almost clinical, a so-called baby farm hidden on his private ranch. One sworn statement paints an especially unsettling picture. The witness claimed Epstein openly discussed with scientists and wealthy businessmen using his New Mexico property as a controlled site where women would be inseminated with his sperm and pressured to carry his children to term. He reportedly described these ideas like a business plan, not in whispers. Allegedly, Epstein wanted as many as 20 women pregnant at the same time at his massive 33,000 square foot Zorro ranch outside Santa Fe. If true, this wasn't about desire or impulse. It was cold and calculated. Epstein reportedly obsessed over eugenics, genetic manipulation, and engineering his own bloodline, treating human lives like experiments on a board. Even more unsettling, these conversations weren't secret. He allegedly hosted polished dinners, private lunches, and invitation-only gatherings with some of the world's most influential scientific minds. At one point, discussions drifted toward designer babies. In Epstein's mind, the goal wasn't just control. It was to manufacture what he considered the perfect human.
The files for not going.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm in the files for not going. Jeffrey Epstein was trying to meet with me.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad?
Yeah, but I would have never went anyway. It's not even a possibility that I would have went.
But
especially after I Googled him. I was like, what the are you talking about? This was 2017. One of my guests was trying to get me to meet him. I was like, you high? What the are you talking about?
For what reason would you? What would be
if I was a guy who was sucking up to the rich and powerful? If I was really interested in hanging out with rich and powerful people,
it's crazy. That's so crazy. But yeah, some people
get intoxicated by being in a circle of rich and powerful people, even if they're not they don't even have any ambitions of being one of those people. They just want to be around them. They want to be around Nobel Prize winners. And because this guy what he was doing was very clever in that he was getting all of these very powerful and very respected people together.
Yeah.
And you would figure it's
that
safe.
guy's there. That lady's
Clinton's
there.
here. This is fine.
Right.
Clinton's here. How could this be bad?
Yeah.
Look, it's Steven Pinker. How could this be bad?
Yeah.
He's a genius. And so you would go, I would imagine, you would go to these, because there's people that went to these, he had parties in New York, he brought in celebrities and comedians. Didn't Louis Black get invited to one of those? I think he's talked about it. I know Chelsea Handler went to one of them. It's like he would bring all these people in, and he'd like to be around famous people and entertainers and a lot of intellectuals and professors. And Noam Chomsky was famously deeply.
Unspeakable things were rumored to have taken place on Epstein's private island. Stories so disturbing they still linger years later. Once Epstein was arrested in 2006, the reality set in fast. His name had become radioactive. The walls were closing in, and he needed a way out. He turned to the oldest strategy of the powerful, reputation laundering. Epstein didn't retreat, he rebranded. After his arrest, he aggressively reinvented himself as a benefactor. Money flowed into charities, and academic initiatives suddenly had a new backer. He pushed into elite humanitarian and scientific spaces, places where credibility is currency. Universities accepted his funding. Nonprofits opened their doors. Respected institutions allowed him access, even though his past was already public and deeply troubling. But suspicion remained. The stain wouldn't wash off. That's when Epstein allegedly realized something critical. Money alone wasn't enough. What he needed next wasn't another donation. It was a human shield, someone the public already trusted, whose reputation could speak louder than his crimes.
Oprah. Now, Oprah is limited in the context of the files, but there is clear collusion between Oprah and Jeffrey Epstein. What do you mean? Well, Sarah Ferguson, yes, the Duchess of York, she is involved with Epstein, and she is involved with Oprah. Let's talk about this specifically. Sarah sent Epstein an email saying, I want to make sure you're aware I'm going on Oprah tomorrow, and she is going to ask me about my debts, the entrapment of last year, and the press about you in January. It'll be quick and at the top of this show, all of 10 seconds, a very small piece. However, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of this and seek your advice on how you want me to answer. It will be a tiny piece. This is straight up collusion. This is Oprah passing through a message to Epstein. You know what? Jeffrey responded to Sarah with the answer that he was supposed to give. Jeffrey was unfairly characterized as a pedophile by the tabloid press. Many years ago, Jeffrey pleaded guilty to soliciting underage prostitutes. He paid his debt to society and has sought forgiveness. I have nothing more to say. This was in 2011. This is clear collusion between Oprah, Sarah.
And this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, Oprah Winfrey's name doesn't just appear once or twice beside controversial figures. It shows up repeatedly over the years. She has crossed paths with powerful men who were later exposed and convicted in massive scandals across the entertainment world. Names like Harvey Weinstein, R. Kelly, and Sean Diddy Combs. Each of them, at different times, sat comfortably inside Hollywood's inner circle, and each eventually became the center of disturbing headlines. On their own, any one of those connections could be brushed off as coincidence. But when the same pattern keeps surfacing, people start asking questions. Patterns don't just appear out of nowhere. They build slowly and quietly until they become impossible to ignore. Take Harvey Weinstein, for example. For decades, he wasn't treated like a villain. He was treated like royalty, red carpets, awards, standing ovations. Oprah, like many others in the industry at the time, publicly spoke positively about him before the allegations became widely known. He was embraced, promoted, and protected, until suddenly the walls closed in and everything collapsed. Looking back, it forces people to wonder how so many warning signs were missed or simply overlooked. Singer Seal Instagrammed a meme showing Winfrey kissing the disgraced mogul. It read, "When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution. Please welcome." The 54-year-old, who appeared on Oprah's show, captioned his post, "Oh, I forgot. That's right. You'd heard the rumors, but you had no idea he was actually serially assaulting young starry-eyed actresses. My bad." While Weinstein maintains his innocence, Seal has not commented further, and Oprah has not responded.
Of a prominent law firm is stepping down over his association with Jeffrey Epstein. Paul Weiss law chair Brad Karp says in a statement, quote, "Recent reporting has created a distraction and has placed a focus on me that's not in the best interest of the firm." The firm says Karp will remain with the firm, just in a different role. Senior Washington reporter Will Staken is here for more. Hi, Will. So what's the latest on this growing list of prominent people facing scrutiny over the Epstein files?
Hey, Diane. Well, I think, Mr. Karp right here is kind of the latest fallout from these Epstein files. Like you said, the really powerful law firm Paul Weiss announced that Mr. Karp would be stepping down after his name appeared in these files. Now, the law firm did not give a reason why Mr. Karp is stepping down, and previously the law firm denied Mr. Karp had any wrongdoing. But, with this release of these files, his name appears in the files, mostly with his assistant trying to schedule meetings with Mr. Epstein. But there's an email between Mr. Karp and Epstein where he's asking about if he could help, get his son some kind of job in an upcoming Woody Allen film. So I think these emails, obviously are continuing to have fallout across, widespread industries. It's kind of the latest fallout here. We saw recently that popular wellness influencer Peta Attia also stepped down.
This moment has become a powerful wake-up call for the public. Fans have come to Winfrey's defense, noting she is a sexual assault survivor herself, and pointing out the complexity of Hollywood dynamics. Critics, however, argue that in Hollywood, profit always comes first. As long as the money keeps flowing, the suffering of children and victims often becomes background noise. According to insiders, silence itself is a commodity. You're rewarded for it, paid for it, and controlled by it. Enormous checks aren't just compensation for talent, they are leverage. An unspoken agreement to stay compliant, to ignore what shouldn't be ignored. Some allege this is exactly how predators tighten their grip. They lure other celebrities in with life-changing money. Once you take it, the balance of power shifts. The payment isn't only for appearances or performances. It's for obedience, for looking away, for keeping your mouth shut when things feel wrong. Critics argue that Hollywood's hierarchy is deliberately designed to shield insiders, allowing certain figures to rise untouched while scandals quietly disappear behind closed doors. Years ago, Dave Chappelle famously walked away from a massive deal, saying he didn't trust what the industry expected in return. At the time, many laughed it off, mocked him, or called him unstable and difficult. Oprah even publicly made light of his decision, reinforcing the narrative that he had thrown away success. For years, Dave was treated like a punchline. But now, as more conversations surface about how power operates behind the scenes, fans are looking back with fresh eyes. Some believe he didn't just reject a contract. He saw the trap before it snapped shut. Because when someone refuses the money, refuses the silence, refuses the control, they aren't just saying no to a deal. They're stepping outside the system entirely. Back then, no one understood his move. Now, many are starting to see that the warning signs were there all along.